Wires are important.
This is, by the way, folks that are just starting to watch, you missed 4 great jokes.
Yeah.
Well, let's not get excited.
They only missed it because somebody didn't push record.
Because I wasn't ready to record.
We're totally out of jokes now. So sorry. This show is going to be no fun. It's at all.
Well, don't set it up like that.
Welcome to Everyone Racers. We're going to talk about toast.
How to
kind of like toast.
On your
Grilled?
exhaust manifold
Pretty awesome.
during a race, but not burn it.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
It's all about the distance.
My speaker's dead.
And if it's not raining.
We'll have to do it through the phone.
We're doing it live.
Someday I'm going to get it set up right. Or
what's your
I'm
degree
not.
in?
I don't know.
Just checking.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low dollar racing and low fidelity intro music. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track dog you bring, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we are sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental. And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back and listening to another Goodsprings episode of our podcast. It's episode 161.
I'm
Nevada
plugging this
State
in
Route.
for the outro music, so it's going to be better. Trust me.
Right? Because I wasn't in the middle of anything.
How's it feel?
Nevada State Route 161 in Clark County, Nevada, known as Goodsprings Road, connects to the town of Goodsprings to Interstate 15 at Jean, Nevada, and until 1972 wasn't completely paved. If you're not driving a car on an unpaved road or on any road, really, obliterate our bingo card, and you can get that link in our show notes. But let's kick this off with what you're working on, Jeff.
Nothing. Not a sausage. I unpacked my bag. I did laundry. I did go to a junkyard and pick up the spindle for the wife's 2015 Forester that I broke, but not a bit of work has been done except work.
Great.
I empathize.
Yeah.
This
Chris?
is very exciting.
Chris, have you done anything more exciting than I have?
Yeah. Well, first, since the last show, I packed and drove to the track, picked up Mental at the airport, did an alignment at the track, did some pretty serious radius rod modifications. We'll talk more about that. Did some racing, lamenting, traveling, unpacking, and took apart the Civic and tried to bend it back a bit. Yeah. Jeff?
Can I mention that I did all that too? I just didn't mention it because I thought we were talking about it later.
You didn't take the Civic apart. So
No, that one I didn't
there
do.
you
I
go.
did not take the Civic apart, but radius rod, alignment, packed for its raced,
Yeah.
But I thought we were
That's
covering
stuff
that
I've
later.
been doing. I've been ordering parts for Chrissy's entire family worth of cars for various things. Getting things through inspection. All our cars passed, because
Inspection?
Because CNC.
yeah.
So-
Pennsylvania does weird things.
The most interesting person of the week, Chrissy. What have you been working on?
Nothing. No. Anyway, I was helping pack for the race that I didn't go to. Then I went on a road rally, and now I'm back. I relaxed a little bit this weekend, which was kind of nice. And now we're trying to figure out what project to start and or finish next.
Well, and I know that everyone at the track, you were missed, but for those who may not have listened, what kind of road rally? Because it was fascinating to the rest of us. It really was.
Sure. So it's a different kind of road rally. This was kind of more on the gimmick side, I'd say. I went on a road rally that was sponsored by the Drexel Women's College of whatever. It's a Drexel
Medicine.
offshoot, women's medical. No,
Something like
whatever. There's a year-long celebration. It's called Women 100, and they're sponsoring a bunch of different events throughout the year. They were going to. This rally was supposed to happen in June, and it was all to celebrate the passing of the 100th anniversary of passing the 19th Amendment, which is giving the rights to women to vote. So this was I took it in the NSX. I went with my best friend Allison, And it was a 2-day event. We drove down to Philly early on Friday morning, had a stop in Scranton, and then from Scranton we went to Seneca Falls. All along the way we had a bunch of speakers. We saw I think he's a senator, Mr. Casey and his wife. There's a big group that really cares about this. So there's a whole lot of feminists, but it was also racing. So racing, air quotes. We drove fast cars up the turnpike, which was fantastic. So there's a whole crew. There's about 30 cars, and I stuck up front. I was listed as co-chair, which meant if the lady who was in charge couldn't make a decision, it was me next in line, and I was basically second car.
Chrissy.
Well, I'm interested and passionate about it and can make a decision. So there was about 5 of us that kind of rolled together going at high speeds. I mean, normal speed. No, we were going fast.
55. They were totally doing the speed limit.
So I just want to clarify here. Was it like driving to work on 422 fast? Or was it like 1 lap fast?
One
or
lap
in between?
fast.
1 lap fast.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we had Mustang as the pace car, the NSX, another Mustang, Ghibli, and a Porsche track car. I don't know the specs on it, but basically she runs with Porsche Club.
GT3, or was it like a 911 or one of the other?
It was 911. It wasn't a GT3. It wasn't. But it was souped. She had track wheels and tires and suspension, all that good stuff. So we were going at high rates of speed, and then there was the rest of the cars, and they were,
catching up.
No, I mean,
they show up an hour later.
Basically, yes.
They were just jelly.
Which is great. We got to all of the stops faster. We got our gas in and out, and then all the rest of them, everybody else showed up. So fun time. So it was a lot of, and I know the woman who she had raced, a couple of the other women had raced. So it's kind of like a mix of feminist excitement on, being able to vote and all the good things that women couldn't do 100 years ago, and then some. And then there was also fast cars. So yeah, it was a fun event. It was not long enough. It was, it was only 2 days or a day and a half, and then I was home. But one of those once in a lifetime chance of events to go to, and we were in all the papers, and kind of a fun thing for every time we landed, we talked to people there. Yes.
Was there shrimp?
No shrimp.
I hear these things are usually filled with hotel lobbies with shrimp.
Only if there's automotive journalists.
No shrimp at all. I'm
Oh.
sorry, very sorry.
These
but
were
I did.
activists, not journalists.
And Bob Casey,
Bob Casey.
That's your
That's-
U.S. senator.
That guy. Yeah, I saw him.
right.
He spoke.
So-
It was great.
So I was going to ask what the second coolest car was, because clearly you were in the first.
Clearly,
But when you say Porsche track prepped,
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
trumps the Ghibli.
The Ghibli, yeah.
the Ghibli,
Ghibli's
yeah. And
definitely
the funny thing is, the Ghibli was driven by 2 fairly older ladies that absolutely kept up with us, and they were dressed like 19th century voting women.
Oh, very cool.
They had little bonnets, and they kept on it, so they were keeping track pretty well. So but I have to say that I got looks all over the place. I had multiple, every time I basically stopped for gas, we had people, like, guys would be like, can I look? I've never seen one of them. Can I look at that? And I was like, sure. And so it's funny because my co-driver Allison, who is not a race car driver, but she would every once in a while she'd be either in the car, and I would either run into the restroom or get a drink or something. So she started learning the answers because people kept asking the same questions. They'd be like, well, "What year is it?" And she'd be like, "It's a 2005, but don't ask any more questions because it's not my car and I
That's the
don't
limit of my knowledge.
know." Basically, yes. But she
Yes,
got
it
used
is
to
an
it.
NSX. Yes, it is a 2005.
One of only a handful made with the actual red and the tan
It's
interior.
got
of course, it's the Targa.
VTEC, yo. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yes. So
It says it does.
It does,
Right.
yes.
so people loved it, and I told her when we got in the car, I said, people are going to look at this car, you just better get used to it. And I don't think she understood how much it was going to happen. So because we were in places that they shouldn't see it. But we also on our way out of town stopped over we drove through some of the beautiful, very scenic places at the Finger Lakes, and then drove and stood out front of Watkins and took a really nice group picture. Obviously we weren't due to COVID, weren't allowed in at all. They were just, wouldn't even, like, we tried to sweet talk them and they're just like, yeah, no. So we just blocked the entrance for a while, took a nice picture picture right in front of the sign, and then skedaddled out of there. And then we got home. So it's a couple about a little over 500 miles, I think. But it was a nice weekend. So that's what I did this weekend.
One of the games that you guys were playing was, take pictures of everyone who takes a picture of the car. And my favorite was the one you sent us of the two 12-year-olds, maybe, in some small town. They're literally sitting on the corner and on their BMX bicycles. And then here comes, two race car driving ladies and a Target Top NSX. And both of their just the picture you guys sent, their mouth agape.
Yeah, basically, we told them, we said, they're asking us questions, and yeah, we were just stopped at a stoplight. The top was on the whole time because it rained all day Friday, and then it was cold Saturday, so we didn't roll with the top down. I'm not going to put that, like maybe Chris and I would have done it with the heat on and windows up and stuff like that, but I was like, I just didn't want to make her go through that kind of torture. But yeah, these kids were, I said, get a picture of them. And I was like, and they're like, where'd you get this? And I was like, Florida?
I went to college and earned it.
And I know where I got it, but like, what? That's not a fun
That's a
answer.
dumb question. Like, there's not another one there waiting for you, kid.
No,
Yeah.
no. And I was like, what's that do for you? Yeah. Anyway,
Get
all right.
good,
So I had a good,
study hard, get good grades, doofus.
right? And I'm pretty sure I'm fairly positive that most of the people that pulled up and wanted to look at it, ask for it, didn't expect two ladies to get out of it. So awesome.
Nice.
That's what I did.
And oh, by the way, I gave up a weekend racing for this. So
I did tell some people that, yes, especially when we really needed the walkie-talkies to talk between the cars. And then I was like, I have some. Damn it, they're being used. Of all weekends, they wouldn't be being used, but they are this weekend. So that's what I did. That's all. Where have you been and what are you doing?
Same as everybody else. I travel, recovery, unpacking. Sunday, however, because I paid for it back in March and it was shut down for the Rona, and then all the racing I wasn't going to do, I've actually been doing this year. So I'm going go-karting with the Vegas Supercarts. So go ahead and prep that bingo card for Mental comes in third on something. That's my plan. That's what I've been working on. So I believe that is time for us to transition to
News and notes.
Okay, let's talk about WRL, World Racing League, has released their 2021 schedule. 12 events up from their 10 that they had scheduled in 2020. In addition to their regulars like Barber, Mid-Ohio, and VIR, they dropped MSR Houston, added NOLA, Heartland Spring, and Sebring. And their 2020 championship is scheduled for December 4th through 6th at the Circuit of Americas. All of their information can be found at racewrl.com.
They had something up this way, like in Virginia or something, didn't they? I looked at the map.
They made a VIR.
Do they do VIR? Yeah, I saw the dot. It was a map. I saw the dot.
That little. It's no one knows that track. It's kind of obscure. So also out with their 2021 schedule is Kathy from Lucky Dog. There are 16 races next year. Big news is that they're going to be at least two East Coast events. They're returning to Charlotte Roval in July. All will also be at CMP in May. This is in addition to all their West Coast regular events at Laguna, Thunderhill, Portland, Washington, etc. No word on the Mexican race yet. Not holding my breath for that one.
No.
Oh, but I want it so bad.
They won't let us in.
Know.
We have the Rona. We're Americans.
Yeah, so this is kind of strange. Now
Dirty wedos.
We can't smuggle our way over because there's a damn wall. So
it's true.
Anyway, check their event schedule at racelucky.com. They put on great stuff.
The best part is us fat Americans can't get through, but if you're hungry and lean, man, you go right through that. Anyway, the SCC Totara is now the fastest production car in the world. Usually we would not give two craps about this, but we wanted, I kind of saw, it's like, hey, I saw that car before. If you weren't paying attention last spring, it was like a year ago, wasn't it? It's Rona time has changed.
To the video in our show notes.
There will be a link.
January. It's ended January last year.
I got a point in the right area.
Where's
I'll put the link.
No.
It's over here.
You're gonna try that? Because I'm gonna say it's gonna be the doodly do.
No. Well, I'll put it in the doodly do too. So anyway, we actually saw the world premiere of this car. We were randomly scammed our way to media passes for the Philadelphia Auto Show, and nobody was there. It was really quiet and lame. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey everyone, come over here. We're gonna do a world premiere. And then there was 12 of us standing around a covered car, and they made speeches, and we were like, what in the hell is this? And then they pulled it off and we're like, that's like
What in
some
the
kind
hell
of,
is this?
what the hell is this? It's like some kind of supercar that nobody's ever going to build.
It's a Batmobile.
The Batmobile, definitely. So anyway,
Yeah. We legitimately might have had the world premiere on this.
it was the
Like,
world premiere.
like our actual like
video, because I like
uploading
sent it
stuff.
out that night.
Right. So we may have scooped major automotive journalists
We
for the
definitely
first
did.
and last time.
So anyway, production cars in quotes here because Shelby Supercars is what SCCA, no relation to Carroll Shelby, by the way, planned to produce 100 of these cars in Washington State. Plan. Everybody plans to make their supercar. Nobody actually gets through with it. 1,750 horsepower. Tatara averaged 316.11 as part of the Silver State Classic. The quickest run was 331.15. It broke the previous one-way record of 284.6 set by Koenigsegg in the same stretch of road in 2017. Link to a car and driver article written by our friend Brett Burke in the doodly-doo.
Speaking of friends who write stuff, which actually I just stole Chrissy's intro. Anyway, our buddy Steph Schrader, she penned a piece over at the Drive. Di Tommaso Automobili is moving to the United States, and the company is calling this move Mission AAR, which stands for American Automotive Renaissance. In an announcement, Di Tommaso said Mission AR pertains both to Di Tommaso's love and discontent with the American auto industry. And this involves moving their entire operation to the U.S. to work with other American car companies to help restore our reputation abroad. Steph says the company is already in talk with multiple states regarding a possible location, and a link to her article is in our show notes.
And speaking of shows that show friends that have written, iRacing commentator and auto journalist Cameron Aubernon got a chance to drive the new Mustang GT500 at Charlotte Motorsport Speedway, and there's a link to her article in our show notes.
Cool, Lady A, we love you. Upcoming races. We're so glad the Rona is gone and we can go back racing. AER is at Mid-Ohio coming up this weekend for 2 8-hour races with a Friday HPDE, 64 cars, which is a pretty good field for them, 35 BMWs.
Boring.
That is more than 50%, everyone.
That
3
is a lot.
Miatas, a Honda, 11 Porsches, and the 88 Cougar of Drunken Squirrel Racing, which we love so much.
And Chamcar is doubling down this weekend with 2 events. This is awesome. The first is Atlanta Motorsports Park with an 8 + 7. That's not the fun one. Never mind. 46 cars, and 9 of them are BMW boring cars.
Boring.
13 Miatas, 2 Hondas, 1 Porsche, and a Dodge Stratus. The second race is at Road America, and this is going to be the live broadcast with 6 in-car cameras and 8 on-track view cameras on the Chamcar Live. Look for that link in our show notes. It's great background noise for when we are working in the garage or putting around the house. Meanwhile, there's going to be 87 cars, 23 of them being boring BMWs, 3 Miatas, mostly because they're all at Road America, 6 Hondas, 3 Porsches, and an 87 Old Cutlass. Awesome.
Each of these races has
Also-
one interesting car. So,
Yes,
Might not
but
be
one
wrong.
of those races is more
Yes.
than 50% terribly boring.
Not interesting.
Yeah,
Yes.
not interesting. All right. Also, this weekend is the famous Lucky Dog Halloween event at Portland International Raceway. If you are not already registered, sucks to be you, because they are sold out and they are in waitlist status only, as is their next event as well. They are running an 8 and 7 hour enduro plus a Saturday night 45-minute optional sprint race. And as they always do, they are adding with a ghoulish celebration and barbecue on Saturday night following the race. 53 cars, a mere 14 boring BMWs, 9 Miatas, 4 Hondas, 1 Porsche, and a trio of Pontiac Fieros.
That's awesome.
One will win, one will run, one will run, and the other 2 are going to be parts cars.
Is that it's a crows?
3
It's a
different
murder.
teams.
I think with this many Fieros, you're a flambe of Fieros.
I was going to say a conflagration. I was going for flaming things too.
I hope you heard that, Ike. A flambe of Fieros.
I like
Mhm.
that.
Yep. All right. Interesting to note that Lucky Dog, as working with their partner Turn 2 Lapping, which is a racing school at the Ridge, to host a track day test and tune and novice school on the Friday before the race. The 350 for a whole team. I thought this was interesting because it actually includes classroom instructions for novices.
Ooh.
So typically they said they run their events in 3 groups. You get placed in 1 of 3 groups based on your skills. Like A is for the people who've done this a lot and instructors and stuff. B is for drivers that have some track time but aren't quite ready for the A team. And test and tune is there as well. But there's also, there's really the instructors available and at times mandatory. So that's a very different way than most of the times we've seen these testing days. So interesting to see that. And, what do you guys think about having something like that? Like say at a Lemons race where you got testing day, like, New Hampshire testing day is nice. Everyone just goes out, it's open, you do your thing.
Yeah.
And they have the rookie meeting, but what about making something like this available?
That's awesome. Actually,
on
I love this
Fridays?
plan.
Yes. And after you wrote that, I started digging around, do some research. So Champ Car, their Road America, it is also a flat fee per team. And the Atlanta Motorsports event is actually sponsored by our friends out at Discovery Parts, who have their brick and mortar store at AMP. And it is also a per vehicle charge for either a half day or a full day. So if you just want to shake down your car and not take those laps out of the race, that's there. And in both cases, like you mentioned, it's an open day. So it's none of this 20-minute, no hot pulls kind of nonsense. They do take a break for lunch because at AMP, you can't get to some of the corner worker stations with the track being hot.
But it's the
There's a 30
instruction,
day.
I think, that separates that's like
The
like
lucky
what
dog, the
you're describing
instruction. Yeah.
sounds exactly like what we get at Thompson and New Jersey
Yeah.
and New Hampshire. Or New Hampshire's it's a per driver, but it ends up being a similar fee actually by the time you're done. But it's all those are open passing, no run groups, etc. But it's the way CMP does it is lousy with the run groups in pit race too. But it's the instruction that I thought really set this lucky dog one apart from everything else that I saw.
Yeah, no.
Well, and because it's sponsored by Discovery Parts and also Primal, who's a racing school based there at Road Atlanta, they're going to have instructors available.
Oh,
Okay, didn't see that in your
Didn't see
notes.
that.
That's where
That's
I was.
good.
Sorry,
going
no,
with that.
and until you brought that point up, I didn't, but I did the research on it. So, guys like we've had on the show, Tyler, Trevor, if they're in town, and Patrick Wilmot, those guys are all, Atlanta locals. Heck, I'd probably be doing it if I still lived there. The big things, I like the no run groups too, because that was what just absolutely destroyed the CP practice day.
Yeah, everyone hates the CMP practice day because of that.
Yeah.
Like everywhere else we go is pretty much, day's open. Just go out, sign the waiver.
And
Thanks.
I love it when they bring, like when they just open it to everybody, not just who's racing that weekend. Cause you get the guy in the M3 and he's out there like, oh my God, look at these punchlines of a car. Oh my God, what is that thing with a Godzilla head in my, mirror? Never mind. It passed me already. How's that car so fast? Wait, oh my God, pink BMW. Wow, God, it's around me already. Wow, God, just it recalibrates stuff. Chrissy, you had a point.
No, I just had a question. I'm wondering where they're getting the instructors. So the pro about having instructors at HPD weekends is because they get to test and tune, or they get to race, or they get to do whatever for free. It may be difficult. I mean, I wonder if they're paying them, or how do they have that many people that are willing to do it for free with not much race time?
My guess is it's similar to a normal HPD because it says this turn 2 lapping is their partner that's helping them with it, and because they have run groups, I'm sure the instructors are going out in the A group, and then for the B or the C group, that's when they're actually doing the instruction with people.
It's interesting because it's a race school, so they probably are professional instructors.
Okay.
By professional, I mean people who actually get paid for it. So
Right.
maybe it's part of the fee. Who knows?
Yeah, but interesting to see
Okay.
that happening. So anyway.
Okay, let's jump to recent results. This is the interesting one. WRL is in Oklahoma at Hallett. Saturday, they ran counterclockwise. This is so crazy. First team was GTR 99 by 3 laps over Choice Racing, and a mere 11 seconds back was our buddy Tyler at Kingpin Racing. Sunday, they ran clockwise. I can't even imagine doing one race one way and one race another way. You're like learning a whole new track.
Yeah,
Going the other way.
but that's part of the fun.
So crazy. I think it's really cool. All right. So GTR 99 took the gold lap over the Screaming Goat. And third was Kingpin 3 laps back. Todd from Rocksteady Racing was 14th overall, but won their GP3 class by 5 laps. And Sunday, they elected not to race after finding a potential issue that decided to save the motor. The Toyota Celica for sale was the 30th was 30th Saturday and did not finish on Sunday.
That's their team name. The
I know.
Toyota
That's why
Celica
I went back.
All right, so more on this in a bit, but Lemons, of course, was at New Hampshire for a actually not as cold as usual weekend.
No, it's rather pleasant
in the Granite State. It was lovely. Well, Friday was a soggy mess.
Yeah,
but the rest of it was nice. So anyway, first overall, Scooby Doobies a mere 8 seconds ahead of Momrath. 8 laps behind that was our boys, Three Pedal Mafia, Black Betty. They were only 3 seconds over Squid Rope. That's true. Only 2 of them really drove on Sunday.
Sunday. All of them drove on Saturday.
Other one ate too much bread or something like that, I heard. Anyway,
what is legal in what is the current marijuana laws? This has nothing to do with the conversation we're having. Keep going.
I have no idea in New Hampshire. So anyway, Class B was Scuderia Craptastic and their 91 Taurus SHO. And someday they have to tell us what the hell they mean by the other cars, the Blue Mamba. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. There is no Blue Mamba.
Right. Retheme your car, guys. You need to do better.
It's black. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
You've been here forever.
They crushed B, 9th overall. Well done. And with the help of our friend, Gentleman Giant Dave, Sasha and Sputnik took Class C with an impressive 23rd overall in a Nissan Axis that looked like it was going to roll in half of the corners it went through, but somehow did not, as it tripoded through them, hauling over on one side. What a terrible car. Judge's choice was the pink Audi. I'm not even going to say the name, even though I speak German. It had a snowmobile engine with a chain drive to the drive shaft as a power adder, and it did nothing, and that was one of the slowest cars on track.
Was that what was going on with that thing?
Yeah.
Because it had like the big mid-engine cover, and I was like, why do they put in mid-engine in an Audi?
That's the snowmobile engine with a chain drive.
They still had the V8.
But it had the regular Audi motor in it.
Yeah, it had the Audi like 2.8 V6 up front, and then they put a snowmobile engine in. This is the kind of thing that happens in February in New Hampshire when
you've got nothing better to do.
Right.
And we've already mentioned their lax marijuana laws.
Right. Yep. There you go. Organizer's choice is our new friends who actually saw this car a few times before it went to the track. Valve Tap Racing and their Hella Sweet 77 Chrysler Cordoba, autographed by Ricardo Montalban.
That's amazing.
Great job, Jim and the team over there. Heroic Fix went to 510 of Bright Ideas, with then Village Idiots S10 and Glenn and Steve and the guys there. They blew an engine early, found another. It was the wrong 4.3. It was a much later one. So they stripped it down to a long block, got it in the car, had no compression, had to play with all kinds of stuff. Anyway, got it to work, made it on track for like a half hour, but everyone drove. So yay. I got screwed, went to Ken and Dale, everyone's favorite pit marshals, which really, this is more of a lifetime achievement for these wonderful people who make sure we are all safe everywhere, and had to stand out in the rain on Friday and be miserable. So they deserve it. Regional award was their other hobbies, that went to the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen for their brilliant work on the new website, onlylambs.com. Link in our show notes for there. And IOE, long time coming, well-deserved. Oscar's John Keep, Manny, the 74 Javelin. It's about time. And I was worried they weren't going to get this when I saw them deep in the gravel on the top of the bowl on the end of the day, Saturday, or was it Sunday? Anyway, yeah, they pulled out, kept driving. Nice. I had no oil pressure for most of the race too, but yet it kept going. And that just said, we're just going to send it.
Yeah. That car goes through corners the way a Land Rover climbs the hills, with every wheel just pointing in whatever direction it needs to. Some other notables that we talked about last week: Punisher GP was 5th and Bazinga was 6th. And that Punisher GP, they had to have some extended off-track issues, because on track, it was untouchable. That was the 920
gas.
It does, but it's so fast and sounds so good.
That's a 928 Porsche, right?
Yeah,
that was because they have 2 cars. It was the 920.
They have 3 because they also brought the Peugeot.
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
Yeah,
Really.
944, 928, and then the Peugeot. Sobs of Anarchy was 76. The FRS Ugly Uncle Solaris, the 99 was 25th, and the 199 was 76. Now, both of those guys were running top 10 for a while, but the red one ate all of the cones coming onto the main
Yes.
straightaway and
Yes,
punctured
it
a
did.
radiator. Posted a video of that one, and he claims, "Damn, Hondas are always in the way, but how do you not see a minivan?" That's all I'm saying. Back off the throttle for a little bit. But we love those guys. They were,
Chris's favorite hydrocephalus racing squeezed him in on the cones.
I think
now-
my worry, my wonder with those people is like, all right, is this a joke or are they serious? And I think after this race, so they're serious.
I think they were serious before.
Like they have custom suits made up.
They
for
did.
this.
Matching
They had
custom
the
suits.
giant logo,
Yeah.
like 4-color, fully embroidered logo on their racing suits
But
for
their race cars also,
hydrocephalus.
their race car is flat black. So how serious can they be?
Maybe
Or
they
they're
just can't
lazy.
paint.
No, flat
Or
black.
they're lazy.
Yeah.
I'm with
Who
Chrissy
knows?
on
knows?
that
That's
one.
an idea.
All right.
Jim's favorite, hit him with the Hein. They
That's
were
my
60th.
favorite.
Yes, I said, or sorry.
You said Jeff.
I said Jim. I
It's
did.
fine.
Half Dan and the Limitarians.
You're the
they
same
were,
person, aren't you?
They were
All Wakeman
29th.
problems.
Yeah.
General Wakeman problems. They were 29th, and Eric Rude on the 24 Hours of Lemons Facebook page caught a beautiful picture of that thing sideways climbing the hill out of the NASCAR track, and you could actually see the black marks that it is laying down. Because Sunday afternoon is always the best time to start watching that Cadillac when they take the safety off and they just go. And Alex Levinson and Ham Motorsports, they were 18th overall.
Yeah, we should mention just a couple of quick damage reports. The Hit 'em with the Hein Racing turbocharged their Ranger, and it was worse. And
Usually what
Yeah.
happens.
happens?
yeah, and Half Dan's Cadillac there was running on like 6 cylinders by the end of the race. They are seriously concerned that they injured that sucker for life.
Well, they did
How
better
many
than
races
expected,
does that
frankly.
motor have?
I don't know.
a lot.
I don't know. A lot. So finally, Saturday while racing, a stack of awesome machines rolled in from the Lemons Banger, not Banger to Banger, was it? I thought it was the fall
Oh,
Foliage
fall
tour.
foliage.
never mind.
tour.
My
foliage
bad.
That's right.
I-
If you didn't notice, they all rolled in. Actually, our friends from Cheese Bolt were the first people to roll in with their SVT Contour, and I might have to add that to the list of cars I need to own one day. Chris, can I have an SVT Contour?
You know, I actually really liked those for a while. Sure, Jeff, go for
Okay,
it. But
good.
whatever.
I'm
I
glad you-
prefer that to a 944. Tells you something.
I'll let everybody talk about their favorites. But we all know Mental's going to talk about the El Camino. I should mention that the winners on points, because we mentioned winners on such things, was Where Have All the Lemons Gone? That was the name of the team, and they were in a convertible Chrysler Maserati Chrysler TC by Maserati, and
That's it. Yep.
they put the top down the entire time, even though it rained for most of the rally. They
Yep.
stayed in character the whole time, and they went to a Maserati dealer and attempted to get it valued, and they gave him a $1 offer.
But
They apparently got pictures of it in the showroom, from what I
Yeah.
they
understand.
let them. Yes, they let them. If you follow them on Instagram, they have a video of them driving it onto the showroom.
I will mention my favorite car, and then I will turn it over for all of y'all. The regional judges org choice. It's hard to tell. They all have different names. Went to the 68 Imperial, and the 68 Imperial was like aqua blue. I don't know what the team name was,
So beautiful.
but this thing was so beautiful yet so terrible all at the same time. Like every design error you could possibly do. It's like, you know what I'm gonna do? It was like the Homer. It was like amazing and crazy.
I think it was a
and
63, not because 68
I'm
was
sorry.
actually
No,
68
63.
were actually looking pretty decent by then.
You're absolutely right. It was a 63. I wrote it down wrong on my notes. But yeah, it was like the Homer. Like everything was wrong, but wrong to the maximum level.
Because if you're gonna do it, do it.
63 Imperial people, check it out. It's amazing.
So
Sorry, is it my
obviously,
turn? No.
okay. Sorry.
No. I was just, when there was silence, I said, oh, is it my turn? Because I was looking at Imperial pictures.
Obviously, it was two younger kids came rolling in, 78, 79, El Camino. They had the smokestacks semi style. Their hood scoop was a stop sign that they hammered into place. One of the kids was a machinist, and this thing sounded glorious. It had an air horn on it, and you could just point at it. It would make if you pointed at it, they would make the revvy noises to make the flaps on their exhaust go. It was just, and I walked out. Craigers was still judging, and they just took the cue. And I walk out and I go, Craigers. And he turns and goes, let me play you the song of my people. And I point at the two kids and he just revs it. It was so great. They come over and hang out with us for a little bit before they took off. Good pair of guys. I hope they stick with it.
I heard there was a brown van with a cat that stayed in it the whole time. That sounds awesome. Was that on a leash?
I don't know.
It was in a van.
Apparently it's called Danica Cat Trick.
Nice. That's
Here,
awesome.
I was trying to find a picture of the Imperial because it was so amazing, but I did find a picture of the cat.
Oh.
It's got some bread. Canned bread.
I don't know why it has canned bread.
Why not?
It's a very New England thing, is bread in a
Okay.
can. And you get your beans in a can and your bread in a can. Yeah.
I like
I
the
don't
cat.
Cat looks bored with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, would you be
Yes,
excited?
too.
The cat is just as excited as you should be with a can of brown bread.
Yes.
Yep.
Chris,
Okay.
Did you get over there and check any of them out?
Me, I looked at a couple of them briefly, but not nearly to the extent you were, because I was, like fixing the race car stuff. But
Okay, let's move on. Listener feedback.
But I do have a picture of the Imperial. I just wanted to-
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was oof.
it's like they forgot the
It
headlights.
was really big.
Oh.
Let me see if we can find another. Fixing it. Ooh, ooh.
Oh, that sounds
There he is.
awful.
The headlights were like in buckets. It was pretty crazy.
And
There
that
it is.
steering
There's a
wheel-
great shot. Like they made the fenders and then like bolted the headlights. Like remember in the 20s when the headlights were in like teardrops and weren't actually in the car? Let's do that again.
Look at that mirror. That is such mid-century modern styling. I love it.
There was so
The-
much
the
fender on
the
this
side
thing.
mirrors.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
All
This
right,
is
yes,
bad.
go on.
Okay. Way
By
back.
the way, that's all on the YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast and you want to go see those.
You're all just like, ooh, ooh, oh,
Yeah, this is great audio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sorry,
terrible
back
audio.
to the
Oh,
room.
let's
Go,
move
go, go.
on. Way back on our conversation about communication, Jackie, our friend, mentioned saying the same word repeatedly and loudly is definitely the only way to communicate with her husband, Dean. Sad to hear about VIR HPDs that weren't great. Know anyone who has done Southeast region at NASA? They were thinking about doing that during Road Atlanta weekend before Lemons. So if you have any insight about that, we would be happy to hear about it.
Pretty sure
Nice.
they are doing that. So
From our work weekend, what you working on? Daring Greatly was prepping spares for next season. That sounds like the wrong thing to do. Randy and crew were upping their pit vehicle game with a sketchy load in a pickup. Cameron was installing a proper ear pod and mic in their helmets. Scott M was crewing. Donnie was doing Donnie things with his Sequoia, a trailer headed north. Rob L was redoing his trailer ramps. He had some massive water
Still
damage in his
has
trailer
more.
and just keeps finding it. It's bad.
Yeah,
And well-
more like
Got
his
that
door
trailer.
today. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. Let's see, where was I? Toma P was doing trucks. Wartburger thief Aaron was at Wall Stadium. Gregory was installing some optional reinforcement behind the polycarbonate windshield of his new Alpha GT V6. Waste of effort. What are the odds that something might come through the windshield, right? Adding a link to the famous deer video at Summer Point. So thanks for refreshing that old meme.
oh, it was his Alpha. That's a shame.
Yeah.
As
Um,
they scrambled to cut apart a pit cart for the expanded mesh to put in front of them for the weekend.
Yep.
And thank goodness you were in the right place at the right time. And why the heck did you put your GoPro on the windshield? I don't know.
I
But
have
it was
some breaking
amazing.
news. Can I get some breaking news? For some reason, Sasha is messaging us on Facebook asking, is someone available to chat? No, Sasha.
No, we're busy.
We're not
It's
available
Wednesday.
to chat. But after the show, we'll send you a message.
This should
Doesn't
be
hear you.
hilarious.
Well,
This
he
isn't
will later,
live.
like 3 days from now. He'll hear it.
If he
just
listens to the
just
show.
one goat.
Just one.
Okay, let's talk about racers Rona reaction. So I was there. I decided to show up because all y'all were driving home. I had some technical difficulties, which progressed when I tried to restart the Mac. It was apparently update time, so I had to wait and watch and wait. But then when I did join, we were at Irwindale.
This was Sunday, right?
Yep,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Night, we were all driving back.
Yes, Irwindale, which is a figure eight track, and loads of fun, no matter what anybody is driving. So there are always crashes at the intersection of the middle of the figure eight.
Yes.
It's a great place to watch. The near misses, which is always fun when they're just going super fast and all of a sudden they miss each other by very small margins. And then there's always huge crashes. So the night started with Silly Hats, which included an awesome setup where there were bongos from a Donkey Kong game, and they used that as their controller to drive.
Yes, that was a great game.
They were good. They were going like this. If you touch the top of it, you would go forward. If you touch the back of it, you would go backward. And then, so they were like playing, and you figured out where on the bongos you used to do different things. So it was pretty awesome. I don't know. There were a couple other ones, but that was the notable one. I think there was the normal ones. I believe, actually, I think I saw on Facebook that for the next race, they've the flight simulator is set up. Mr.
Sean Yoder.
Yeah, Sean Yoder. Yes.
Genesis Labs.
Yes,
Yeah.
Finally has it all or set up, or at least I saw the picture of it. It looks
And it is a
amazing.
full motion, like Air Force quality flight.
It's one of those
simulator.
three panels of mirror of it's gonna be pretty crazy. So anyway, I'm sure there were other ones, but the creativity level is so crazy high. Everybody keeps trying to outdo each other, and of course, when you watch these drivers, they because Ryan is so good about zooming in on anything, you see like. This is bad audio. The drivers are crazy because they're doing such abrupt motions with how they would be driving because of whatever they're using to make themselves
the
propel
driver's
forward.
physics engine. Yes.
Yes, it's pretty awesome. So I'm not sure who won any of them. I don't know that it really matters in a figure eight. It's all about who doesn't crash the most. And then people all of a sudden think that there's the bongo.
That's the bongo controller, everybody, from Nintendo.
Yes, I was going to put the picture in the notes, but it doesn't really matter. So anyway, fun times as always.
And don't forget, tonight, if you're listening on Thursday when we release this, we'll be joining for a special Thursday night event, endurance racing at Mid-Ohio. So it's not the usual Sunday, it is Thursday. Start time is to be announced, but check on the various.
Oh, it's on the board,
platforms. Oh, 8 Eastern.
Oh.
Practice is at 7. Oh no,
Nice.
It's not Eastern. It's Central, dude. It says it on there.
If you can read that, good for you. Because
7 Central is practice. 8 Central racing. That's the answer.
Thank
All
you,
right, so-
Chrissy. I
Mic
had
drop.
no idea. Yeah, nice. All right.
I was there. so
I
that's
had
why
no
I'm-
idea they were going on Thursday.
They are.
Yeah,
He said it like
apparently there's
85 times.
I wasn't
apparently
watching.
there's I guess Ryan is unable to be there that night for he has something else already booked. 'cause
Well,
he's a
I
busy
have
guy.
a better chance of showing up on Sunday, but on a Thursday than I do on a Sunday. But I have just as equal chance of wrecking somebody and ruining their race, no matter what night I join. So
True. Give it a shot.
Excellent.
Great.
So we also do our E1R Monday Night League, and in preparation for this Mid-Ohio event, we also held a race there. So Uncle Dave was there. He won the first in a Mustang, and then Tyler Stank won the second, a Lotus 49, after a great race with Carl. Now our E1R race league is every Monday night at 9 and 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and even though we have some serious iRacers show up like Santiago and Tyler and some of the other crew, it is not serious, and it is barely racing. It's a whole lot of surprise. So DM us on any of our social media or text us at 484-243-0455, and we'll give you the password to get you into that race. The link to our Discord, which is half the fun, is in our show notes.
cool. You know who never needs to text us for the password?
This is true.
Chrissy's mom. She never has to text.
So the question we all got asked, all three of us, I think, at New Hampshire was, "Hey, where's Chrissy?" And then she's doing this really cool, like, awareness of voting, celebrating women's suffrage. And they're like, "Oh man, that is fantastic. Did any of the cookies
Did
make
she
it?"
send the Did they send the
Did she
cookies?
send the
Apparently there was so much that some. Oh, I don't want to tell her that some came home, but Right?
Not because they
No,
weren't eaten,
no.
but because of the Rona, because
'cause-
people couldn't come
Yeah.
around.
No,
Oh, that's
Chris
okay.
was
You
too
could've brought him-
stingy. He didn't put enough out. He didn't put them out
I
fast
put them
enough.
out all the time, like Thursday
You
night,
totally
Friday
did.
nights.
My
I
mom
put
will
'em
think
out
this is
all
actually
the
really funny
time.
because
It's
we
like-
talked about how
These aren't going out. These can wait here.
right?
I mean,
You don't want
definitely
these.
some snickerdoodles definitely did not make it home. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't
Hopefully
see
but
the
but I had
snickerdoodles
some
all
for the
weekend.
plane ride. They
The
didn't make the plane
I
ride.
have to say that the what were those choco, what were the peanut butter ones? They were awesome.
Which ones? There
Chocolate.
were a couple. There was chocolate peanut butter chips. There was peanut butter oatmeal chip. There was the
I
peanut
didn't
butter
see
jelly
them
bars.
either.
I put them out
I
like
did
on the
got
hood.
robbed.
They were no. They were on the hood of the car.
I
and
just
he
missed
did-
them.
like Chris actually displayed them. with
Oatmeal.
the
I definitely
names
would have
of them
digged some
on
oatmeal.
on the Tupperware.
Peanut
He
butter.
like laid it out in front of it so everyone knew what they were eating. Because Johnny B came over early on Friday and asked, "Hey, are you guys going to be able to do the goodie bags?" And we apologized profusely. Said, with the Rona, we're not doing that. But there's plenty of cookies. And Johnny B was in our pits every night.
Yeah, like at every hour. Coming over, gonna do
He
cookies.
also just really likes people and us. So there's that.
True.
There's
fact.
that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's actually talk about the race. Well, before we go to the race, let me say one more thing. Chrissy, I hope I packed everything okay, because I had to pack up and I was like, Chris was like, no, it's in the wrong box. And so we tried to put it all back.
Oh,
But
stop. No,
it-
it was totally fine. Well, actually, I don't even know how it was packed because Mental got on dish duty. So everything that went, Chris
When we got
emptied
home.
every box and everything came out and Mental washed all dishes. So I have no idea where things went. I've put things away since then, but thank you all for doing everything and picking up for me not being
And,
there.
and,
Yeah,
and,
sorry
and
we
all
missed you.
all the prep work you did was awesome, but it just wasn't. And we're glad you went and did that. It was way more important, but it just wasn't the same.
We did fine. We did
yeah,
fine.
I mean,
but like we couldn't
Sure,
find
you did fine.
yeah,
you couldn't find what?
Everyone got
The
the
spam.
to-go
We didn't
cookie
find-
bags.
Right.
I know nobody did
yeah.
get to go cookie
Well,
bags.
oh,
Oh
don't
no,
know
I
that's-
totally got a to-go cookie bag.
Well,
So-
yes, you did. Actually, you did.
I don't know that there was spam. I bought pork
Ah.
roll and bacon, but I don't
Yeah.
think spam.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I mean, it was like a 3.5
forgot.
versus 5-star.
Exactly, exactly. All right, let's talk about the racing. What do we
Yay,
want to talk about?
racing. Well, let's start
Friday?
Hey,
Do
with
you want to
racing.
do each day, or do we want to just talk about stuff?
Yeah, let's go by day.
All right,
Let's
Friday.
keep some organization to it.
Well,
Yeah.
we got there Thursday night, and there was some early week consternation about where Chris and I were going to sleep.
More of
Because
is our recreational vehicle going to arrive before?
Literally,
the
this happens
gates
every
close
year.
at 10. Well, this year the gates close at 10. In other years, they're open
hard,
until whenever.
hard close at 10.
And then
Oh,
we usually end
no.
up seeing Wakeman's at 12, 1.
Midnight,
after-
1, 2.
Right, after
I've
going
literally went to
through-
bed on the people's shelves.
after going through Pennsylvania to get from New Jersey to just one goat.
One
Jeff,
goat.
One goat.
Just one goat.
One goat.
So,
So what time did the Wakemans arrive?
So
9.
there was a
50.
we've started a new tradition on the Three Pedal Mafia, and we call it the over under Winchester. And you can take the over or the under, and the loser has to do 10 push-ups and present a beer to the winner.
Okay. I saw
Yep.
Mental doing push-ups. I don't know what was going on.
Yep, because he
I believe
lost.
the under
3
one.
minutes.
It was a good
Three-
over under. Whoever
Yep.
said it.
Friggin'
Well,
minutes.
On the way up, Jeff said, "All right, we're on the way. Our ETA is 8:00." And I said to Mental, "All right, true over under on this by my guess is 9:18." Like which one?
We consternated about that for
This is at 2
easily
o'clock in the afternoon.
45 minutes. We went back and forth before I finally made my decision, and I went with the over, and I lost by 3 minutes. Yes. So as the Wakeman RV pull and you guys called us and said, we're totally here. And I love you, Jeff, but I called Kim Harmon to make sure.
Yep.
She's like, yeah, they've been here since about 9:15. So yeah. So I ended
All right.
up doing push-ups and giving Chris a
One
beer.
goat. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's talk about the race. Friday, we didn't really have anything to fix or anything. We kind of waited until Saturday. Or
Friday
was
was a really
Thursday.
crap. Thursday everyone stayed up late having a good time.
Because we
but
got the
Friday
band
was-
back together. Betty was
Yeah.
there. It was the first time we'd all been together this year,
fill in the hot tub, all that stuff.
Mhm.
cleaning the hot tub.
Ugh.
Yep.
It got put away wet. It was a bit rough.
Well, it's been in the box
Lot
for
of
a
simple
year.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Friday was a terrible, cold, rainy, awful, dreary day. And we didn't test. And I'm really glad we didn't because it was terrible. So
Yeah. I ended up working. I was out front checking people in.
yep. So we mostly worked on the Honda. And we came into this knowing I wanted to swap rear control arms with ones I'd replaced the bushings with and doing a really good alignment. And of course, of doing that, we found that the left front wheel was a full half-inch further back in the wheel well than the right front wheel. So this car has radius rods that go from the control arm up to a forward subframe. That's what locates the wheel front to back. So we took the radius rod off and we tapped it a half-inch further and cut the bushing a half-inch deeper, put it back together, and wouldn't you know it, wheels right back where it's supposed to be, and even with the other side.
And it's worth mentioning that one of the challenges is there is no part of the Honda that has not been altered by other vehicles. So there's no standard of measure that we can go on any corner of the car.
This one measurement was pretty damn. It was the inner structure, like of the A pillar, like down.
I'm sorry,
where the hinges
yeah.
attached. So that was about the one not bent thing on the car. So it's a great actually point to measure to the breakdown.
Well,
so.
It was the non-bent point of the car until Sunday, but more on that on later. And it's not to say that Chris has been negligent. Chris has done an excellent job of prepping.
I mean,
this
we
car.
bought it
This is how we won
crunched.
Thompson.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It wasn't straight when we
Fact.
bought it, but it's gotten worse. Anyway, so we tried to do a really good alignment. We even had Steve sitting in the driver's seat with a bucket of tools on above his head because Steve with some tools is about me, and I am between the other people on our team. So let's get the weight right. So did that, and it was okay.
We got everything where we wanted it. Right?
Where we thought it was. Yeah.
Well, the rear we weren't
Ish.
sure, right? Because we no longer had the adjustable upper, whatever that is.
Oh yes, we also had found a bad bushing on the upper control arm in the back, those were adjustable. They were just Amazon ones. Bushing was bad, so we had to go to a stock replacement, which lost us some camber in the rear, which led to a car that was a little looser during the day.
Little floatier.
Okay.
Not terrible. We should mention that the other two cars did test, had a good time. They got wet. They had a good. They seemed everything was running well. I didn't see them really doing anything to their cars other than retuning themselves. The Betty crew had not been on a track. 2/3 of the Betty crew had not been on a track in over a year. Darren has obviously been. He was on the 24 and a few other
Barber.
races.
This is only his third race, but Barber.
That was only our third race.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, that was Friday. We all had a good time.
Yeah. Friday night, normal shenanigans. Actually, but actually not normal shenanigans. Normal small group shenanigans. Calm. But you're all in bed by like 12:30.
Yeah. But even normal small group shenanigans, I feel like we three pedal mafia'd it a little bit.
Donnie showed up, Randy showed up, Randy Bish. They all had a good time.
Yeah,
no Lamino though. No Tom Lamino. That's all we were missing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's fixing his broken Volkswagen. Crying little salty tears.
Dude, it was Friday Friday night. Yes, Friday night. So just 2.5 pit stalls down from us was the Egan family.
Yes.
Utility Motorsport, their turbo Saab wagon. And being the seasoned salty Lemons vets they wrapped their entire car in an inflatable bubble,
which someone had left in Chris Egan's basement 6 years prior.
Is that really how they got it? That's funny.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So it's meant to be a store your collector car in this bubble to keep everything off of it. Right. Yeah. One of those. And so they put COVID-19 quarantine zone stickers on the side and put Saab in it. And of course, it wasn't long after they left that several of us were in there wearing masks.
Instagram. It's hysterical. Wearing mask. It was awesome.
Went in, took a picture, got out. Anyway.
Yes.
So fun had by most. All right. Saturday racing.
Well, before even that, we noticed also on Friday night, there is this is a new problem. first world problems. We have a complete shortage of dongs now on Three Pedal Mafia.
Yeah.
We're just down to the one double
Down to
ender.
the one.
Here's a
Just
picture of the
sob in a
Saab,
bubble.
and
There may be a few people in it.
You'll notice everyone is wearing a mask.
that's right.
Yep.
Because we're
being
safe.
safe.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's keep it rolling, guys. We got a lot
Saturday.
to go.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
Let's talk about the race.
Saturday
crying out
racing. Jeff, you started. What was it?
loud. Ooh,
How was it?
rain.
Rain.
Not that cold. It was just rainy. Got out there. It was wet. It was drying.
Not that cold for you friggin' Yankee
Um,
weirdos. I was
Yeah,
dying.
I had a good time. I was out there. I was slaying them down. I was passing everybody. I was
Your
doing
wet
really
laps at the
well.
start were quite good. Sir.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Everything was great until it dried out a little.
And before you get there, we mock Jeff. Jeff walks around in a rare mental moment. He grabs himself and he gets as cocky as he can be and says, "I am Senna in the rain."
Senna. Then I spin.
And we
Always
want
happens.
we want to make fun of him, but in fact, he is Senna in the rain, because I believe Momrath had set the fastest lap of the practice day, and Jeff was within 3 seconds of that in the wet.
Well, they were in the wet too in the practice day. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Either way.
So
Keep it
anyway, I was cooking. I was doing really well, and the Taurus that ended up being, I think, 5th place, and the Scooby Doobies, who ended up winning the race, passed me. Like we were doing short shifts, so like an hour into my shift, like they passed me, and the Scooby Doobies like went right by me, and I was like, oh, I should go faster. So I started going a little faster, and everything was fine. And I started turning down some really good laps. And then I didn't try and catch him or anything. I was staying within myself. And on the back straight, which is part of the NASCAR straight, which takes the right on turn 4 and goes up the hill, everybody backed up. There was a yellow flag or something, and I hit the brakes harder than I needed to. There was a ton of room between me and the stop traffic, and I spun the sucker on a straight. It was terrible. I felt horrible. It is my first black flag since the incredibly rainy 2017 NJMP, when I put the ombre in the grass when it
And not
was
only this, Jeff,
wet
when you
drying.
came in,
So it's the same problem.
and when you came in, you drove right past the penalty box.
No,
Had to drive
at
all
the
way
speed
around
limit,
the-
totally
way
doing
around the
10
building.
miles an hour.
I didn't know where penalty was.
even though we've been hanging out there.
I
Chris
thought
and
you
I-
went in the other side. I really
Chris
thought
and I
you
had
went
been in there for like 45 minutes. Anyone that would come in, we would just, from a socially safe distance, just start banging on the metal fencing and just yelling at them. Shame.
You would yell shame,
I was
Shame.
ashamed.
shame, bang.
I went out. I finished my
that
shift.
became the shame shout became a little more viral over as the weekend went on. That
true.
we heard a lot of other people
Yeah.
shouting shame.
And when Manny, eventual C winner, sped in the pits, they actually made him follow Eric Rude while he threw the pits on the golf cart
He was
at a
Iowa
reasonable
winner.
speed, saying shame. So
Yep. And he is a judge, so he gets it. And he just sat there and took it because he knows he has
Yeah.
to.
He's like, got it. Shame. I deserve it. Shame me. Yeah.
I finished my shift. I think I was running probably near 10-ish when I was there, and I gave it car up in like 17th. So
Yep.
shame.
Still
And Jim
top
went in.
20.
Shame.
Not trying and a black flag and running short shifts. 17th is quite respectable,
Shame.
especially when you start
So-
looking at the folks that were running in the top 10. Those were some hammers.
Jim went out, same as usual. Except he almost spun, not quite spun in the bowl. And Eric got a wonderful picture of him at full
It was
steering lock,
amazing.
full gas, trying to keep the thing under control. And he did. He never got around. So if he just stuck 2 fingers out the window, he would have been super cool, but he didn't. So, oh well. But yeah, the short shifts this weekend were definitely way different for us. We're used to running
I was
2.5 to
not-
3 hours.
Yeah.
That one of us would then walk up and say, oh, we got to do a driver change, like 10 minutes. We're like, what?
Driver
Really?
change? Can't possibly be driver change
And
yet.
we're putting in 1.5 bottles of gas. Like, oh, that's it. Okay.
We're
great.
sitting in the pits and somebody would walk up and be like, dude, you got to get in the car in 10 minutes. No. Oh crap. Oh God. We're stuffing our
Yep.
face full of cookies and stuff. Yeah.
So Mental, you went out third. How was your shift on Saturday?
I felt really good about it. Again, not trying to win, so we were comfortably running the top 10. I
Or
threw
we were in
down
the
some,
teens at that point. We were
we
working
were
our
in the
way
teens.
back up.
and this is, I don't want the show to run long, but we were talking about the suspension settings. I like the suspension settings when I got in the car on Saturday. It is a little bit more razor's edge. It is not as friendly as the old B class Civic used to be, but I liked it, and I was doing really, really well. I think if everything but the top 5 cars could not get around me, but it's nice when you're not trying to win, because you roll up on a traffic jam, you don't have to find a way through it. You just roll off the throttle, relax a little bit, and find a spot. There we go. That is a beautiful shot of Jim just showing off for everybody at the track. Look at me drift my Honda Civic. Woo!
Yep. He caught it though. Good for him.
He totally caught it. He rocked it.
The best part of that is that like later in the afternoon, Eric came over and was like, Jeff, I got a great picture of you spinning in the bowl. I was like, I didn't spin in the bowl. I was like, crickets. And we look over and Jim's like, that was me.
For those not watching, Jim just casually was like, yeah,
Waved.
I totally got it. But
that was me.
and Jim goes, wasn't a spin. So no, I didn't come in and report it. He knows exactly the amount of degrees he has, and he took it right to that limit.
Yep.
Chris, you
So
got in. Oh, sorry.
I brought it
I
in,
got it.
handed it off to Chris, feeling good.
Yeah, that was. I think you'd gotten up to like a 11th. We dropped a couple on the pit stop as usual. I did not like how the car felt at all. There's a big dead spot in the front in the steering that I did not like in any way, shape, or form. Made it hard to modulate. Made the car move around too much. I liked the balance of the rear though. I thought it had just kind of the right oversteer understeer balance, which I'm a little more comfortable with than Jeff and Jim. But I thought it was pretty good. I did not like how it felt. I was not comfortable with it initially. It took me a while to get warmed up to it. Eventually I did, but I was never happy at all during the whole day. But got us up to, I think we were 12th or something by the end of the day. We were not top 10, but we were close, and that's all we needed.
Meanwhile, Cressy was what, 17th, and Betty
also
worked up to 10th.
Yeah. Also, I had a passenger yellow. It's my first one ever.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Ever in 50 something races, first one. And the same at turn 3, they got me, they got Jamie from Mumrath, they got a couple of their really like veteran teams, and all of us said, obviously, well,
3 is hard to miss. If it was at 3,
right? See, when you get called with a flag, if you did not hit anyone, you did not put wheels off, and you did not lose control or spin or anything, it's going to be a passenger yellow. So I came in and said, yeah, apparently I passenger yellow. So where? And that's when Kreger said, yeah, it was 3. They got about 8 teams at the same time. None of us had any clue. So I'm going to say maybe it wasn't the clearest yellow flag they ever had out there.
But also, and I'm not going to say I've never done this, say like when the race was on the line. But there is a little trick you could pull if you know that you're dealing with a top 5 team and you see a yellow flag and you jam your brakes really hard to make it look like the other team passes you. That's,
I don't think that's.
I'm not going to say I've never done that, because I've done that, but I feel like that's kind of, and it wasn't like they were setting you up because you were top 10, but they set you up to look like a sucker.
Yeah. Either way, finished the day, and we went and worked on the car. And so that night, we aligned it again. We took actually a notch of sway bar out because Jeff and Jim wanted a little less loose. We changed the front alignment again, and then had some dinner.
And I want to agree with you that I don't think it was loose, oversteery, or understeery. It just lacked total grip in transitions, especially when the track fell away from the tires.
Yeah, transitions feel bad in the car, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
and I'll agree with that, but I've been driving a lot of cars lately where you get used to not having 100% of traction, and so I was very comfortable in it.
Sure,
I'm the minority.
I'm making the car as good as it can be. Where we're
is friendly. I think friendly is what
Yes.
you the phrase you because you and I had an extended debate about this, because I was whining a little bit, because I liked it, and he was like, no, it's not as easy as it was, and that's 100% true.
You should be able to approach the limit more easily than you can now. Right now, you can drive to 80% just fine, but getting that 20% is really hard, especially the last 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. No, trust me. I've driven that car more than anybody else ever in all of its history by
and just
factor
I
of 4.
I like it when it's a little more razor edge, but
I like its razor
that's
edge too, but
style.
I like it predictable razor edge, not all of a sudden the car just jerks one way,
All right, Chrissy's making funny noises at us.
which
So
it totally does.
so Saturday we got the suspension sorted out. We had the hot tub going. We had some Wart burgers. We were living large.
Friday was Wartburgers, but okay.
Okay, no, would we
Stir
Saturday,
fry?
Jeff and Jim made stir fry.
Yeah, that was it.
boom, that's what it
Anyway.
was. And again, still living large. At that time, the Cressy was top 20. We were 12th and Betty was 10th. So we were sitting pretty. And Momrath, I want to say, did they start in third or second?
Third. Yeah, third.
Yeah.
Third. So
I think
three Pedal Mafia teams top 20. One of our associate team members top 5.
Yeah, I think we were actually I said 12th earlier. I think we were down. Just 2 black flags and their extra pit stops put us pretty far back.
I think
in
we
the
were in
standings.
the
we were top
14,
20,
15,
but
yeah.
it was we were.
It didn't
pretty much
matter
even
because it
precedent.
was gentlemen racing between friends.
Yeah,
But
which is
We
wonderful.
didn't care.
Which is what we were laughing so
We-
hard
we
about.
were
is that
really
we
hoping.
weren't trying, and here we were top 20, which underscores our point about this is the difference. You can get top 20 just by having a well-sorted car and a good team and clean pit stops. But if you want that
And when
top spot, it's everything.
And when we got flags, we were laughing at each other and shaming each other instead of
Yep.
instead of getting all pissed off. We were like, "You dumbass! What's wrong with you?"
Well, I actually waited longer my black flag while you all yelled at me. Like, they were like, "All right, go ahead, Jeff. It's your first one. And, this car this weekend." And then you're like, shame. And I was like, yes, shame.
Yeah,
Shame me.
duh.
Yeah. So we were really rooting for the for Betty and the Cressida. I mean, the Cressida smells the podium like every other race, but Betty, Bruce, Darren, and Greg, we really wanted them to do well, and they were really fast. But we heard that they were not very gentlemanly on the track, and they got a couple black flags also. And we're
Mhm.
still on the top 10. So they were putting their nose where they shouldn't. But anyway, yeah, that's what
Meanwhile,
we
the
watched.
Cressy, everybody loves the Cressy.
Yeah,
Never gets anybody's way. So Sunday
so
went,
Jeff-
Jim opened, ran a great shift, no issues, except he got a black flag, didn't he? 4 off.
I don't remember what it was. It 4 off?
4
I don't
off.
even
Yep,
remember.
he absolutely did. So we yelled shame at him and we sent him back out, and he gave me the car in the high teens. I brought it back.
Sub
17.
15.
No,
Oh,
17.
Okay,
Yeah, 17. I brought it in 12, gave it to Chris, or gave it to Menzel. I'm sorry. No,
No,
Chris-
no, it was
Sunday.
Chris.
Sunday, I went third for the
Sunday,
first time ever.
gave
It's really weird for me. I pulled the car into the pits when I was done instead of into the paddock. Really
So
weird.
Chris said, "We're not trying to win. What shift do you want?" I said, "Well, I love closing."
That's just
There
great
we
because
go.
we all got a pack.
Yeah. So I went out. The car felt notably better in the front end. Like the dead spot in the steering was gone.
Yeah.
It was much better. You didn't
Was-
you didn't have time to really get a good feel for it. The dead spot in the steering was totally gone. The wander at high speed was way better than it was before.
Yes, the
but-
Wander was way better.
Yep. So much better than the front end. The back end still wasn't staying put the way I wanted it to. Like the car just still occasionally just move in a way that it was unusual.
I had
But it was
one
understeering
incident
more though.
Yeah, I had one incident on Sunday coming down to the Turtle where the rear end stepped out when I really had no reason to step out whatsoever. Like I was hoofing it, but
You probably
it
a little too much brake and locked that right rear, and that was it.
yeah, and I slid down the hill, just not exactly with the rear wheels following the front wheels, and there was a bit of
Yeah.
a
Yeah, no, a little too much
Moment.
understeer on Sunday because that sway bar changed, but whatever. It was much more confidence or partially more confidence inspiring. I liked it better, but anyway, I got the car up to 10th, delivered it to Mental, and we had a good quality pit stop there. Mental went out.
That was
and,
a brilliant pit stop. We
all
were-
of our
yeah.
pits were fine. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
good stops. Yeah,
we were on it.
Went
it's
out
easy. You don't have to put 4 cans in.
Yeah, 1.5 done. That was easy.
Yeah, I guess we'll go back out again. We
Yep.
didn't kill the fuel pump. The seat belt stayed bolted in. I mean, what else could we
Everything was
want?
fine. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So then Mental went out for the last shift of Sunday.
Worked. I want to say, was I up to 10th? Did I get it to 10th?
I
Yeah, we were
think
10th.
you were just about. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
you
just
were
about
only
10th.
in there for about 15 minutes.
And this is the thing is so I'm the weirdo, and I guess I'm a little more comfortable with a car that is not as comfortable. And it was fine. I didn't feel like it was the weapon it had been on Saturday, but like it's not my
See,
car.
The difference is I want it comfortable when you're over the limit, not or slightly uncomfortable when you're over the limit, not uncomfortable approaching the limit.
See, and yeah,
That's a big difference.
And it's a style of driving, because I felt like Saturday I could put it closer to the limit, but Sunday I felt like it was a little backed off, and I think my times were reflecting that. It was easier to drive. It just didn't feel like the metric hammer that it was.
The whole weekend, the car was at more than 2 seconds slower than it was the last year, the same thing.
Okay, because I set the time of the weekend on Saturday.
Yeah, still more than 2 seconds slower than the previous year, and
apologies. Okay, so I did not know that.
And the time from the previous year too, like it was a 122. We got a low 122 in last year. And when a lot of times during that year, I was looking at the race monitor and I was 2 seconds ahead of my fast lap coming by the treehouse before I hit traffic. So my point is the car was way faster last year than it was this year.
And yeah. Now because one of the things I had to do was adjust my line going up the hill, because it did not like the divot nearly as much as it didn't like the divot at all, but on Sunday it really hated it. So I would avoid that as I would want to go up the hill. Coming around, having a good time, getting around everybody. I think just everybody but Momrath, Punisher GP, Scooby Doobies, and we're not racing for position. So if they rolled up on us, I'm offline. I'm pointing because
it's the return to the point buy. I haven't done a point buy in years. I was
really,
like, hey,
right?
Man, bam. Hey, Matt, what's going on? Go right by, buddy.
Yeah. So I think I had 20 minutes, maybe
15
minutes coming out of the S's, about to dump on the main straightaway. The car in front of me, who I'm setting up for an inside pass, suddenly dodges right. And there, out of nowhere, is a wheel rolling towards me. And I cut as hard as I could to the right, heard a massive unhappy crunch, immediately clutch in, car goes into neutral, shut the ignition off, because I thought I had taken that wheel right into the radiator and there's no way I'm cooking that motor. Roll it up to the wall, start screaming into the radio while Jeff and Jim and Chris are packing, and all they hear is, the car's messed up. Someone come to the wall and look. Now
we could see anything.
You know what you can see from the paddock to that spot? The roof.
And this is my failure of communication, because I didn't say that I didn't put it into the wall. I had just stopped at the wall, and I didn't know if the tire was blown. I didn't know if the suspension was effed, and I didn't know if the radiator was leaking. So I sat there until the hook came by. The hook came by and said, yeah, dude, you're good. So I limped it around the track, pulled it in. But at this point, we could have, if we had been in the hunt, we could have finished the race. We just couldn't have finished the race fast. And
I would not recommend I would not have put that car back out no matter what.
Okay. Well, then there you go. So
there's steering damage. The suspension is in the wrong place. The splitter's broken into, the air dam is completely gone. The fender's hanging off. But the steering damage, so there's something loose in that. There's no way that car's going back out safely. So it wasn't going anywhere.
So we rolled it into the pits. I had my little 30-minute temper tantrum, and there we go.
So damage to the front apron. That is a welded on panel, and the upper frame rail behind the fender, it has a kink down in it now. So and the wheel that we had moved forward the previous day, it's back further now than it was before even.
Yep.
And there's now there's a ripple in that front subframe where the radius rod attaches, because that got distorted and pulled back.
And I want to talk about this.
Thanks to Alex Levinson for the F in chat, by the way.
Yeah. Oh God, I had it written down that it was a new team, their first race. They're running an old Jetta, and their spindle broke. And when they found out what happened, they actually actively found us on social media, and two of their team members apologized for their car breaking, which is a really, really classy move. Thank you guys so much. We get it. Crap happens. Cars break. Cressida broke earlier, and that was Aaron's words of wisdom. So I had my little 3-minute temper tantrum because I was feeling really like we could get a solid top 10. And of course, and Jeff, Chrissy, you guys agree. You just feel bad when you break the Honda because you got to look at Chris and go, I broke the Honda and I'm really sorry.
Actually, Chrissy doesn't know what that's like. She's never broken the Honda.
But she has that fear.
She's crashed the old Honda.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, that was like
I was like
barely.
race
That was
number
like,
2.
That was like not my fault. The people stopped in front of me and they somebody had a freaking
Trailer hitch or something.
trailer hitch on their car. What? No. Okay, sorry. That was my fault. But that was also race number 2. Also, I think about this every time I race because I don't want to go home with that.
I get it.
Go that way. Go the other way. Go
I
the other
totally
way.
get it, Chrissy. I was
To the
like
left,
cleaning
to the
out
left, the other way, the other
I was
direction.
cleaning out the back
see-
seat.
no, the
I
other
was going to
direction,
sit in
other
the back of the Suburban.
No, the other direction. There it is. There it is. That's right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he couldn't get to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
yeah, I'm down. I'm
Yep.
down.
So anyway,
Now you
final
know.
result. Final result. Cressida never got their fuel system fixed. They had a lean condition all day. They tried everything that wasn't working. But Betty in third, and that was wonderful. So great job for Betty.
Yeah.
And
that's,
also Momrath second.
Yeah.
They were, and we talked about this earlier. They were chasing down the Scooby Doobies. That was a brilliant race by every team in the top 4. They were all they were doing it right. They were doing it clean. They were doing strategy. It was not being involved, fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm just happy for our boys who just finally actually didn't step on their wieners much.
Yeah.
So
Well, they
good for
flew a
them.
lot straighter on Sunday. They didn't have any black flags.
Oh yeah.
And we did not
Absolutely.
hear anyone coming in the pits going, "Who's driving the RX-7?" Except for Matt. Matt had a wonderful 30-minute tirade with Bruce about where Bruce kept saying,
That was
"I have
Saturday.
the line."
That was Saturday.
That was Saturday. I thought it was Sunday.
Yeah,
Saturday.
it was totally
Yeah.
Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, they fixed their wayward ways for Sunday. So
Yeah.
anyway, like most races, a lot of ups, some downs. That's how things go.
Great seeing old friends. Great seeing new friends. Loved hanging out with Randy and the.
Yeah,
the
I don't think
crew.
I've ever
Legit-
met Randy Bish in the
I
real
just
world.
met him the week before.
Meat space.
Meat
Yeah,
space, yeah.
at Gingerman, and he's exactly what you expect Randy to be. Hysterical.
Okay.
My suit is washed. It is drying on the rack.
Yay!
And it is being put away for the next 6 months or so because it's the end of the season for me. Yeah.
Mine's cleaning
Yeah.
away, but it's coming back out in 2 months.
Yeah.
Mine's getting cleaned and put away until February of next year.
Okay.
End of the season. Plenty of time to wrench, but we got a lot of wrenching to do.
But you know what else we can do in the meantime? Everyone's favorite topic.
Just
Oh yeah, we're talking heater safety. All right. Yeah, I
It's
know.
hot.
It's not hot.
Don't touch it.
Okay, if it's that hot, you're in trouble, which is what we'll talk about. Temperatures are dropping in some places, but there's plenty of places that are not. It's like was like 75 here
Seriously,
today.
It is 69 degrees when I get up in the morning.
Yeah, I know. So as I'm writing this, I'm realizing that some places in the United States it's not that cold. But that means we should take the time now to prepare for when it is going to get colder because if you're using a space heater, let's talk about space heaters first. Okay, so don't put anything too close to it or it could catch fire. Inspect your cords for anything kind of holes. Maybe your cat ate it because I'm pretty sure our cat was eating the cords that were coming out of the wall a couple days ago. And if it's hot, don't use it because it's probably broken.
Sorry, quick on the subject of cords. Don't coil your space heater cord. The resistance in that will heat it up a lot. And actually at work, we've seen fire start from people coiling cords that have a lot of current going through them. And especially then if you put if a blanket falls on that'll start a fire.
Okay. Thank you. Make sure it's on a stable surface, but really make sure it's not on a table too. Even though their table may seem stable. Don't forget to turn it off when you leave the room. Good idea. And make sure, especially since you're not that guy, especially if you're like in an office and you happen to turn yours on, especially if it's illegal in your office. I'm not speaking from experience. I'm just saying that we know that people have left them on and people have call your friend and be like, can you check if that's still on under my desk? So yes, okay. So and also make sure that you are having it well ventilated. Any more ideas on space heaters before I move on? Silence. Weird.
No.
Weird. Whole house heaters. They should be inspected too. So the last thing your family wants, because you probably could live through it, but did you die? You all probably are like whatever. But you don't want to listen to your family. And when the house is too cold, especially when the night during the night it drops below whatever 40 30 whatever, make sure you have your heater service because you may not be able to actually do the servicing. Keep stuff away from it, also a great idea. And you could consider running a stiff brush over the burner, but also don't forget to change your filter often. If you have a fancy thing that tells you how often you're supposed to change it, then that's great. But if not, then like try to remember, maybe do it like every once a quarter, or keep it on some kind of rotation so you don't forget about it. And probably a few times a year. And
Yeah, every quarter. If you have an allergic person in the house who has like hay fever, like every 4 months, they're like, "Did you change the filter lately?" No.
If only
no.
I gotta go up and change it.
yeah. If only we all carried some sort of handheld mobile device that would remind us of things every 60 to 90 days.
If you just asked it to.
If it listens to you.
Here's my top tip on changing the filter. So our filter's in the attic because we have pull downstairs, and I never know what size it is. So I took a Sharpie and I wrote it on the pull downstairs. So now every time I have to change the filter, I pull down the stairs and I go 25 by whatever by 1, and then I run out to Home Depot and I buy a 3-pack and I take it upstairs and I go, oh crap, there already was 2 up here.
Yeah, I buy it by a 6-pack. Leave the box next to it.
That's my solution is we buy too many and then leave them. And then when I suddenly don't have them anymore, as soon as I change them, get in the car, go to Home Depot while it's still fresh in my head and throw the fresh ones back in our storage closet.
Okay.
But that's valid. When we first moved into our house in Georgia, we were not getting heat out of it. So we had to hire an inspection company, and they came out and said, if you would have fired up this heater in the winter, you would have died, because the wall, the heat conductive device between where the fire is and where the air is had burned holes into it. And it was basically throwing carbon dioxide into our heating system. It was I want to say like a $60 inspection, but it literally saved us.
It's having oil heat.
Don't asphyxiate, kids. It's no fun.
The kids or you. Just don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody should asphyxiate.
Don't asphyxiate, kids.
Thanks.
Punctuation changes everything. Let's eat, Grandma.
What's that in the road? What's that up in the road ahead?
Yeah.
You do this all day.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else for the good of the order?
No.
Does anyone have a clue what we're doing next week? No.
More grammar puns.
Or grammar puns. Okay, that's good.
Not.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Can Grammar. We also hope you join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. If you're watching us on the YouTube, talk to us in the doodly-doo. Chrissy, point down because you're on the bottom of the screen. There you go. In the doodly-doo, right down there, you can talk to us. You give us 5 stars, even if you hate us. Give us 5 stars, tell us why. If you have any comments or show ideas, drop a comment in the doodly-doo or the Facebook page, Everyone Racers. Email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Or, this is new, Mental wants you to text him. I don't know why.
No dick pics.
484-243-0455. Please do not send rudes. We're also stealing this bit from Apex Adjacent. I'm tired of saying that one. I'm skipping that sentence from now on. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless there's a wheel coming at you, then dodge that son of a bitch so we don't have to fix the car all week, all winter. Winter, whatever. Thanks.
Okay.
See you next week.
Bye.